All right, thank you. As I just mentioned before, everyone will be put on mute, and you're looking at. I will be recording this, so if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me after this presentation. I will get back to you, and I will answer all your questions on their merit. But today's meeting is on the maintenance register, which is fastly becoming one of the major features inside the system. I get a lot of great feedback from a lot of our clients. I can see Diana's on there. She gives me a lot of good feedback on certain things. And so Brad Thomas there, thank you for a great weekend the other day, mate, up there at the Gold Coast with the Synergy Group. But you're looking at the maintenance register is really one of the major features inside the system now. So yes, you've got the red, orange, green kind of approach as all the other registers or all the other kind of main registers do as well. You have your item ID related to the site, maintenance work, the work order number, which is a great feature. So it automatically generates a work order number, start date, end date, if those fields have been actually completed. But we'll go through all this kind of thing as we're going to go through it, because we're going to log in some maintenance, and we're going to go through the entire process. Now, yes, you can log into the system and add maintenance just during here, just like any other kind of field inside the system. You can do it manually if you wish, but really at the end of the day, the best thing for you to do is actually develop a maintenance request code. So you select this link here. It'll actually take you to request links. So if you want to know where that was actually found, if I go user admin dashboard, building management, develop maintenance request link, but you can obviously get it via the link at the top of the register. It's much easier. Just like any other register, it'll actually have an add button in the top right hand corner. Really, you can filter by a person responsible, but just forget about that field. It's non-mandatory. Select the site. I just entered the site of Albury into the system just before we started this meeting. So you can select that site. Now you've got categories here. So really, I'm going to get rid of a couple of these because they're not the checklist I'll be getting rid of. So it's emergency equipment, yeah, you can have that in there, but you've got maintenance and also plant equipment. So what that means is that you could actually, if I actually select plant equipment here, I can actually relate that item directly to an individual plant item if I wanted to. Or if you save an example, emergency equipment, you can do the same thing and relate it to an emergency equipment item, and that picks up your emergency equipment register. The main process, though, you would actually select maintenance. It'll actually say maintenance request form automatically as the item name. The date, well, that's today's date or the date you actually created it. Now you can select SMS, email, or both. If you did want to receive an SMS, you would have to go to this purchase button and purchase some SMS, and then it automatically highlights here how many SMSs you've got left in that presentation or inside your system. So we'll just leave that as both. Here you can actually select one person, or if you wanted to, you can actually select the new Prime Minister of Australia and get him to also receive an email or an SMS on the maintenance. So what happens here, these are preloaded fields here, but you can actually develop your own list. So obviously you can actually get rid of that list there and create your own item. So it's a good idea, say for an example, if you're going to relate this to, say, there's kind of different kind of maintenance. You've got your maintenance relating to plant and equipment. You've got maintenance relating to a site. So it's up to you. You might want to put all the variables on one QR code, or you might want to just put all the variables of the site, like light broken, elevator broken, toilet broken, whatever it may be, carpet broken, so forth in one. Or you might want to do the same thing relating to a plant equipment item and enter, tires needs fixing, needs service, whatever it may be that you want to do for that plant item. Location really should be location or plant item, but you can actually enter all the different locations, or as I've done for many a client, enter all the different plant and equipment items. You might, there's some companies might have a couple of hundred. You might think, it's going to take too long to do. It really doesn't. It's quite easy to it comes up on the phone quite nice and neat. And to search for, say for an example, if it happened to be a excavator, all they got to type in is E and automatically bring it up to the top of the list. So you can create as many locations or items as you want. You can come down here. Don't worry about these fields here. They're not mandatory. A lot of the government agencies like to actually have that inside their system. But here you can actually select, yes, I want to make it public. And that means is that when the person scans the QR code, it will automatically come up on their phone or their iPad, whatever it might be, without being logged into the system. So you would actually make it public if, most of the time it's because it just makes it so easy to do. The next one, well, that's a variable. So do you want you see your employee list on the form? Well, if you're an in-house business like ASCO Engineering, yeah, you would actually say yes, you want your employee list on the form. If you're a nursery like Diana's business, you might say, for an example, select no because the general public might scan this, and you don't want the general public to see your employee list on the form. So at this point in time, we're going to select yes, just so you can see. So, and if I select save, it'll automatically go into the register here in the request register, but also send an email out to all the different people. So it's a good idea. You might even want to put that on your desktop if you want to just log maintenance, via the form instead of logging into the system. It's up to you. So if you can edit that, whatever it may be that you've chose, there's the email I just received just then. So if I select view, it's automatically created this QR code. And like every other QR code inside the system, if I go print QR code, that's automatically created a frame with the name of that maintenance and your company logo just here. If you're not happy with your company logo there, it might look a bit squashed, just put it in a ticket and say, can you actually fix up our logo? It's quite an easy fix to do. But so you're looking at, you could actually, a lot of times, if you're a company servicing a lot of people and you're going out and servicing all these different clients, it's a great thing. You might put it as, panel tech maintenance. And then you can give all your clients that QR code, made it public, and say, if you ever need us, just scan the QR code and log maintenance. Straight away, like say, for an example, even with ASCO Engineering, with all the wineries that you do, Brad, you could actually call this ASCO maintenance related to your general site, make it public, don't put your employee list on there, and give it to all your single clients. And what they can actually do is scan it. And what they're going to do is log maintenance that might be needed for any one of their winery vats or whatever it may be that the company actually does for them. So so you're looking at remembering most of the time you would actually relate it to your general site or your company name. But you could, if you wanted to, actually relate it to an individual site. If you wanted to make sure and break that up to an individual site, it's up to you. So let's just close that there. But if I actually let's just say, for an example, open up this link, because this is what, if you scan that QR code, this is what they see. They don't see all those icons up the top. They just see this form. They cannot get anywhere else. And yes, this is a URL that you could supply to someone, and they cannot get anywhere else in your system. It's a specially coded URL. So now, this is the difference between, say, for an example, having your selecting your employee list on the form or not selecting your list. If you didn't, they can just enter their name, or they can actually select their name from a drop-down list if you want to do that. So as I mentioned, if general public can see this QR code or this item, you would not have your employee list on there for just privacy reasons. If you did actually happen to have in your employee register, you'll see that there is a mobile number field, an email address, and so forth, and you've got all those details in there. It'll automatically put their details inside the system when they select their name from the drop-down box, not from when they type it in. When they type it in, the only reason why it did that is because it picked up my Google, saved name. So you're looking at, that means when actually the maintenance is all done, it'll actually send this person an SMS and an email to say, hey, their maintenance is completed now. So it's up to you if you want to use that field. Here's that drop-down list that we actually created. So you actually create this list, a nice and easy list so that people can actually select that. And again, they can select their location. And if they wanted to, they can actually put whatever it may be inside here. Now they can take a photo and just upload it. Sits perfectly inside the system and submit. So when they've actually submitted that there, it will actually log them out. Of course, they don't see all this up at the top as I mentioned. It'll log them out of system. It'll SMS and email alert me that maintenance has actually been logged for that item. So let's go to the maintenance register. So two things. If maintenance has been assigned to me as the person that there's the email just come in just then, it will be seen in my to-do list. So really you don't even have to go to the maintenance register. You can actually just go to the to-do list because I was the person responsible. It'll actually be seen here and I can click on that pad and take me straight to the form. Let's just go via the maintenance register. It's gone inside the maintenance register as red. Itemize the number, but you're also looking that it's automatically created a work order number. So the work order number is created by the first 3 digits of the site and 3 digits after that. That's how that is generated. So I can come over here, select the edit icon, and what this does here is actually brings up the request form. I can see that the site of Aubrey, the elevator is not working on level 1 with some more descriptions. I can just say, yes, I want work to start on that date, want it completed by that date. Here is where I'm communicating with the person I'm about to send this request out to fix it. So this here is instructions to say, oh, by the way, can you actually maybe look at the other elevator or wherever it may be. So needs approval. At the moment, it's set at default. That will be a feature coming later in the system where you can actually set that instead of maintenance automatically being sent out by the supervisor or manager to get completed, it will need kind of approval from management to say, no, we're not going to do that maintenance, especially for items which are large cost. But at the moment, it's set as default, and that feature isn't in the system yet and won't be probably until the end of the year. Some other good stuff coming in before that. I can actually relate this to an internal person, or I can actually relate this to a contractor. And I can select a contractor. This is picking up the contractors inside my system. So you've already vetted them with their qualifications, insurances, and safe work method statements. Or you can actually add a contractor. If you do select add contractor, it will actually send them out the 4-step compliance process as if you're adding a brand new contractor inside the system. But let's just select a contractor and go through. So I can go update. Automatically puts it into the system here as orange. Contractor goes out, fixes the maintenance item, notifies me it needs to be done, and I can actually select that it's completed on that date, update. If you wanted to, you can even actually go edit payment details and enter all the different things that the contractor is going to invoice to. So you can say invoice to, such and such, and this is our address, email address. So, and that's going to send it out in the notes in the original thing so they know where to send it to. Let's go completed. Automatically email alerts everyone out there and SMS depending if they've got a mobile number inside the system. But it's now put it into the system as green. So this is where the good bit comes in. You can actually select the cost of the maintenance inside the system here. Enter the cost, any additional notes, and a person responsible who did it. Sorry about this, I've got a bug in my throat. So, and upload the invoice and go add document. What that's done now is actually automatically gone to the published register, and I can download from a date range. So if you're actually doing maintenance for a company, you've got to give them a report each month. it's a great way for you to actually do it from a date range and supply that report. Let's download completed items and go publish. This automatically puts it into a CSV file. And this CSV file you can obviously develop and manipulate into a report. Later on in an upgrade, I will be actually making this do graphs just like the incident report and the hazard report. But there is actually an overall dashboard coming into the system later this year. So you're looking at here, we'll actually have the item number, who was requested by the site, the maintenance needed, but you can develop all these different things. All you need to do now is just maybe filter by A to Z or something like that. And you can see, wow, we're having a lot of problems in the foyer. So if I go over to the other side here, and you've actually entered the cost inside the system, it'll actually have the cost inside here that you've actually entered. So a really good way for you to actually do a report to a certain client, or like I had one client there, they said they were spending around about $200,000 on maintenance, and they didn't really know where their maintenance was coming from. So it's a great way to report to the board, by the way, here's all our maintenance costs, this is where they're coming from. It might be that you found out the forklift is actually costing you a lot of maintenance, or a certain machine is costing you a lot of maintenance. So it'd probably be better for you to actually hire or lease a new machine or purchase a new machine, other than keep on paying for the maintenance of that item, which is costing you too much money. So if I go to the plant and equipment item, I'll just select view here. If I come down here, it's you can actually relate certain things to maintenance to certain sites. So if I go PFB, it might be better, easier one. I'll select the forklift here and come down. So you've got maintenance request form. If you've related to the item of forklift, or you related to the site that forklift was related to, it'll automatically put this QR this form here where they can actually select that and take them straight to that link where they can actually complete the form. So that plant and equipment section is now becoming a really good feature, because really at the end of the day, if you scan this one QR code, not only can you see the safe work method, the checklist or incident form, hazard form, but also you can see the maintenance request form, all from one QR code. But for many companies, the maintenance register here is a great way for you to actually look very professional, especially if you've installed something to a client and then you actually have to maintain that for that client. Instead of them actually just giving you a call, you can put a QR code on the item that you've actually implemented, get them to scan that QR code when they need it. You've made it public, automatically sends you the request, puts it inside your maintenance register with a work order number. You can go out, do that, and then even, say for an example, if you want to find out a cost relating to that section. So this system will be getting an upgrade later this year as well. So we'll be adding to this feature because this has become such a really good feature. I get a lot of good feedback from clients and so forth, and a lot of things that they would like to see in this register that would make it even better. Yes, it's coming into the system later this year. So it as well as a new look for the entire system coming into the system as well. So these kind of go-to meetings are meant to be just short 20-minute to 25-minute kind of webinars. So that is the maintenance register. Arguably one of the best features inside the system, because whether you've got plant equipment or you're installing something or you've got a building, you've got maintenance issues and maintenance costs. What's the difference between the plant equipment maintenance and the maintenance register? Well, plant equipment maintenance inside the plant equipment section is scheduled maintenance, and the plant equipment section inside the maintenance register is unscheduled maintenance, or things that might go wrong that day. Coming features, as I usually highlight in these kind of webinars inside the system, or new features inside the system, is, as I mentioned previously, if I go search here, you can now search for a contractor's name inside the system. So and it'll actually bring up whoever it may be related to that. I might pick up pick up someone that I know might be inside the system. So it wasn't. So it's you're looking at, it'll pick up the employees of the contractors, not just of the contractor itself. So good little feature there. Some other features coming into the system in the next couple of weeks. Or this is a feature that's just gone into the system inside in the last week. If I actually select view next to this item and scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that it also has the site name that checklist was actually performed at in the log. It didn't have that before. And another thing that it's actually in this section here is, yes, you can publish the checklist register, but now you can actually export this individual checklist, and it will even have the answers of that checklist on that. So good little feature there. It was requested by a couple of clients, and I thought it was a quick and easy fix to go inside the system. So with that is the maintenance register. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me an email or put them into the help section on how to do that. But yes, as mentioned, it will be getting an upgrade later this year as well. But it's good version 1 of that kind of process. There was actually kind of version 2. It's been upgraded already. Look, the best way for you to do is actually make it public. And again, as mentioned, if your employees are only scanning it, yes, make it public with your employee list. If general public are scanning it, make it public, but don't put your employees list on that form. So thank you very much for turning up. We've had a pretty good turn up, which is great. So hope you're getting the most out of the system. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.